Working with oil cables, one reason the jointers don't do it and one reason a lot of people don't want to do it is it's a dirty, filthy job. Even as a techie, when you do it, the connections have to be done all under pressure, and if you make a mistake, it's very expensive. I'm Malcolm Richards. I'm an electrical tech at Delta. I'm the leading hand there, and we were looking for a cable fault at Corstorphine for quite a few months. Dug up one end of it, didn't find it, dug up the other end, and luckily we found the leak. The cable involved is the Corstorphine number 2 33 kV cable. It's an oil fill cable. This particular cable is on a very steep bit of ground, so it's difficult to work on. So you're working with high pressure, and because of that we have to freeze the cable. So we use liquid nitrogen to freeze the cable. It's a little bit like when you do the scenario with the scientist and he freezes a banana and then breaks it. We have to be careful not to drop anything on the cable when it's frozen, or even this big metal cable would break. It's difficult to maintain, and it's maintained at a pressure, so the oil in the cable is always at a pressure put on it by some nitrogen-filled bellows at a tank that keep it serviceable. Once the cable is dug up, exposed the coffin and the whole joint. The coffin's a fiberglass cover that goes around it, and the joint's full of bitumen, and inside the joint is the cable with a copper barrel which is full of oil with the wipes at either end. But in this case the coffin had broken and the bitumen had poured out onto the ground and made it a very messy clean up. So that had to be shoveled and cleaned up and everything cleaned and tidied. The coffin was removed. We had a spare coffin in store, which is one of our last remaining ones left. Our initial assumption was that it probably would have been one of the lead wipes or a broken pipe. As it turned out, the actual leak was in the pipework beyond the joint, and it leaked underneath the sheathing in the pipework and into the joint and melted the bitumen, which poured out. But because of that, it did mean a full rebuild of the joint. And when that was pulled apart, the jointers did re-wipe over the lead wipes to strengthen them while the joint was stripped down, and new components were made for copper piping. We replaced existing manufactured lead piping with copper pipes, as they're a bit more durable. Once the job commenced, we were committed to finishing it. We'd taken it out of service because the leak was only very slight, and we were topping the cable up and it was still in service. But I think the days are numbered for this cable, and I believe Aurora does have a replacement plan in place.